Hello everybody, good afternoon. Let's say, and now something completely different. So we have seen a lot of things. We have seen Kubernetes, just-in-time compilation, many things of Java and so on. And now how to survive as a team leader. So something completely different, and thank you very much that you are sitting here, maybe enjoying free Wi-Fi only, but I hope that you will find this speech enjoying. So shortly about me, a short introduction. My name is Michal Petřík from Profinit, so seated here in Prague. I'm a software engineer, Java developer, team leader, project delivery manager, and now head of software development at Profinit. So I went all the way from bottom to top. If it's a top, maybe not, it's somewhere. And actually, if you want to hear or see the way how it goes when you go back, so please go to this room at 10:10 tomorrow. Mr. Tomáš Borovec will have a speech focused on I was a team leader and now I'm developer and I'm happy. So maybe you have a sales pitch today from myself, and tomorrow we will see how to do it in an opposite direction. Should you have any questions, please look at slido.com, GeeCON 2019, and I hope I will find some time at the end of my presentation, and we are sitting in room 6. So the question, team leader, who is it? Maybe first question from my side, raise hands please. Thank you very much. Raise hands, please. Who is a team leader? Nice. Who wants to be a team leader? Not many people, okay. And of those who are team leaders, who want to sustain in being a team leader? Not much, okay. So that's how it is. One question. One more question. Who of you is doing Agile? Of course, everyone is doing Agile. Who of you is doing Scrum? Pure Scrum? Okay, here we go. So if you read the Scrum guide, there's nothing such as team leader because everyone is equal. We have Scrum Master, that's a supportive leader. So what's the role of team leader there? From my perspective, you know, we had our lessons at the universities, we have our semester projects, and we all know that when there is a semester project with our colleagues and no one is a bit of leading, then nothing happens at all. So in my opinion, even Scrum teams have some kind of a leader, someone who is going to say, okay, we are switching to Kubernetes, we are going to cloud, let's follow. We can rotate the role, but still you need some skills in the team. And this speech is not going to tell you have to be team leaders to be successful, definitely not. There are many team leaders around, and there are not many good developers. So if you are really good as a developer, please do it, and the world is better. If we are talking about team leading, so let's see where we are. I'm pretty sure you are familiar with this org chart. Let's see, it's a tree, it's a graph. And at the top, we have our CEO, CFO, CTOs, whatever. Then we have some supporters, and so on and so on. And at the bottom, we have our Scrum teams. There are many layers between the bottom and the top. And of course, there are different levels of strategy. So at the top, we have strategic level. These guys say, okay, I'm really bored of my infrastructure. I want to move to a cloud. Okay. Then we have tactical level. These guys say, okay, you mean cloud. So we will try Azure, Google, Amazon, Cloud Foundry, whatever, and we will see. At the bottom level, we have operational level. These guys have a really bad time because now they have to do POCs with Azure, Cloud Foundry, Amazon, and so on. And down there we have those guys trying to find out why that AWS Lambda is not working and why it's not logging. And if I'm going to speak about team leading today, I'm talking about the bottom line. So that's where we stand. Obviously, there are team leaders at the higher levels, but that's not for today. So team leader, from my perspective, is a bit of both worlds because we are good developers, we are performing pretty well, and then someone comes and, hey, you are pretty good, you know, Maybe I can give you 3 more developers and you can take care of them, somehow manage them and do something a bit about it. So it means that a team leader should know the details of the project, to know the stuff, but also have a high-level overview. It's not about you only, not only about your code, but now it's about the other persons you have in your team and you have to care. So you have to know something of both of the worlds. You should have project manager skills. It sounds really, really scary. What does it mean, project manager skills? Does it mean that I should drink a lot of coffee, or what does it mean? But in my opinion, it's about soft skills. We developers, we like people, but maybe when those people are far, far, far away and not wanting to talk with me. So a team leader needs to communicate, share ideas, and also be able to get the information from the peers and know the domain. When we go from the higher levels down there, sometimes managers say, I don't know what you are doing down there, but I want to have it tomorrow. Actually, that's completely wrong. If you face such a project manager, think what you want, but that's wrong. So team leader has to know the domain. It's not about coding, Java, .NET, and so on. Okay, I'm working for a bank, I'm working for an insurance company, so it means I have to know what is the stuff about. So, another thing is, yesterday you were a peer, today you are a team leader. What about your colleagues? Can they ask you for a beer in the evening? Would it be okay, or are you just scoring them? Hey, you are my colleague now, but maybe I have a KPIs on you. Maybe I should see whether we are really performing in the evening as well as in the morning. So it's another shift, because maybe you are really good friends in a personal life, but sometimes you also have to solve some issues. For example, I expected to have it today and it's not here. So what can we do about it? And you can say, hey, Peter, it's not a problem at all. Okay, tomorrow on Friday the next week. No, 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 you are a team leader. You have to solve it. You have to do something about it. So it's another shift, and team leaders sometimes suffer a lot because no one wants to have problems, no one wants to have issues, but it's your role to do it, to solve it. So if we think about management as such a bubble, and software engineering on the other side, because software engineering is always there. It's not about coding, it's about analysis, testing, and so on, estimations. So team leader is inside, and you may say, okay, that's a pretty small overlap. So in reality, it's like this. So if you are a team leader, you know a lot. Maybe you're one of the best in the team. You know about the architecture. People are going to ask you, what should I do? How can I implement this? But also you have to know the skills, how to manage the team, how to receive information from your customers, how to work. And now the question, not only this bubble have changed on the slide, what also have changed? Anyone noticed? Yeah, at the top, the previous slide was a bit of both worlds, I would say. The best of both worlds, because a team leader in a team is a really good technician, but he is also a good leader. He can communicate, he has to do it really properly. So if there is a lack in skills in any of these areas, that's wrong, and then sorry, maybe you are not a good team leader at all. I think sometimes it's good to do some tips or say some items to consider when we are talking about team leading, and I would call it team leaders 10 commandments. Definitely we are not talking about 10 commandments from the Bible, but in a way 10 things every team leader should consider, know, or work with. So let's see the first one. Team leader should be a natural authority. It means someone said, hey, John, now you are a team leader, do something about it. And you go to your team and say, hey, guys, you know, yesterday my boss told me I'm a team leader, so what can we do about it? What have you been doing here? That's definitely not good. Every one of us remember our days at school or at the universities, and we have in general two types of teachers. One teacher where was really bad. He was screaming, doing everything, but no one followed. In the classroom, it was a complete mess. On the other hand, there were teachers that simply entered the classroom and there was silence. They said nothing, they simply entered and there was silence because there was respect, there was natural authority. And this is something that can be learned, but it's always better if you simply have it in yourself. So, sorry to say, it's needed, because sometimes you follow some people, it's a natural thing, and sometimes you don't, and they can do whatever they want. So, you can use, of course, power. Since Monday, I'm your team leader, so if I say so, you should follow, or you are fired, you don't have KPIs, whatever. Okay. It works, but it works only in short term. So then you can be certain after a few sprints, you have no team at all, and also your KPIs are going down. So the worst combination is, I have the power, you do what I say, but if anything fails, it's not my problem because I have these stupid guys sitting here and not doing what I really wanted. So if you have such a team leader, please go far, far away from him or her or whatever, because this is wrong, and unfortunately, we have many examples that these people still exist around there. And the key aspect is trust, natural respect, and ability to lead. Yeah, those are nice words, but what they really mean. Actually, I think that everyone has gut feeling what it really means, that you have trust. You can say, hey, I'm not meeting my deadline, I cannot finish it in the sprint. And that person will say, okay, let's see what happened, and it's not a problem, I'm not going to kill you for that. Because you trust him, you will tell him. You have respect, maybe he's a really good technician, so you can go there and ask for some help, and he's able to lead. So if he says, or she, okay, we have to do this, and we should focus on technical depth, you will say, okay, we will do it, makes reasonable, why not? So even more important as a team leader, and many team leaders fail in this, and also managers, but I'm not going to substitute it. It's just about team leaders. If there is a success, it's mine because I'm your team leader, so I invented it, that's great, I will get some incentives. But if anything fails, their faults. So every team leader is natural authority through giving or taking responsibility. That's the key. Let's see the second one. Works effectively. What does it mean, works effectively? We all know this. We need to have a focus on our work. It's called flow. So in the morning, I have my coffee or tea or whatever. Then I'm working for a while, and then I have the flow. I took my headphones, and now I'm really effective. Fine. But with a team leader, not anymore, because they will attend a lot of meetings, and meetings are time killers. So no time wasting, pointless meetings. And sooner the better, you will realize you simply don't have to be there, because the agenda is not for you, or it doesn't make sense to attend such a meetings. How many of you receive meetings requests? Okay. How many per day? For example, more than 10? No. More than 5? More than 2? Binary, okay, more than 1, and so on. And how many of those meetings are really helpful for you, that solve the problem? Who thinks that these meetings really solve the problems if you attend them? That's not nice, isn't it? So this is it. And how many of you receive requests for meetings with agenda written in it? Oh, that's terrible. And would you have it? Yes. So that's the first problem. Sometimes, okay, we have a meeting for 1 hour. Maybe it can be done in 5 minutes. So ask the people, and it's completely okay to say at the beginning of the meeting, hey, sorry, I don't know the agenda, I'm leaving. It's wasting my time. You are smiling, you are laughing, but it's the truth. It's your precious time. You can be somewhere else with your team and really working. You don't have to sit there and listen to some bullshit. Sorry. So many times you don't have to be there, so ask for the agenda beforehand, and if not meeting your expectations, simply don't go there, because you can be more effective somewhere else. It also means please do not create useless work for others if you don't want to sit at a pointless meeting. So please don't create pointless meetings for your peers, paperwork, and so on and so on. So it doesn't make sense. You have to prioritize and delegate. We will talk about it in a few seconds. So this is effective work. And there is a 4Ds principles, a small tool that can help you not even when team leading, but any time. Who knows 4Ds principles? 1, 2, okay. So for the rest, let's say that we have urgency and importance, and everything is some kind of urgent and important. And now we are seeing it from our perspective. So it's not urgent, but it's important. So it means I can delay it. For example, I have to prepare a review for the end of the month, but I have 1 week left. So it's really important to have it, but not now, so I can delay it. It's urgent for me and important for me, so let's do it, because you are the only one who can do it, so do it right now. It's not urgent and not important, so simply delete it. Again, a question, how many emails do you receive every day or reading right now? More than 50? Okay, more than 30? More than 10? Don't tell me you receive no emails at all. Maybe it's too late today. But the thing is, a lot of emails we receive are simply junk. So we don't have to read it, we can delete it right away, and it's only a state of mind. And obviously, there are some honorable exceptions. If the mail states it's from your CEO and I want to see something, and still you think it's not important and not urgent, you will definitely read it. But that's how it works. And if it's urgent and not important, so let someone else to do it. That's your job as a team leader. So simply delegate, because it will save your time and maybe you can help your people to somehow grow. Here is an example of one of our colleagues at Profinet. This is his calendar. As you can see, from Monday till Friday, completely full. Please, a small reminder for Thursday when you have 4 parallel meetings at once. No idea how he manages it, but somehow he manages it. And at the bottom, sometime around 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., there's please no meetings. At last, I want to have some time for me. So if you find yourself with this calendar and never mind the color, maybe blue, red, whatever, something is really wrong. So change it, don't do it. The third one is quick reactions to changes. We developers know it. APIs are changing, interfaces are not working, customers are doing whatever. So we have to react quickly, but it also applies to team leaders because every plan is old or obsolete after the beginning of every project. It's the fact. So you plan something and the first day half of your team is ill, or something happens, machines are not ready, interfaces are not ready, cloud doesn't work. So that's the problem. You have to be aware of priorities and risks, and internal and external. It means your internal risks are, for example, since the day one when you are a team leader, I have a junior team and half of my team still studies at the university. Actually, I'm not aware if it's also in your companies, but it really happens. And these days in the Czech Republic, unemployment is 2.8, and it's really hard to find anyone. So you are hiring whoever you can, and then you have students, and they are there on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays every fortnight, and you have to manage it somehow. So you have to know your priorities and risks, and you should have your map with some people, because it's not about sending an email and waiting for response. It's like fire and forget, because very often on the other side, people are ignoring the emails. So maybe you have to take a phone or go to the person and ask for help or somewhere push. And as a team leader, you should know where to go and whom to ask. And quickly and effectively, of course. So when there are team leaders from developers, the top of the performing task is I will send an email. Very often the email is too A4 pages long because all the details are written there why something is not possible at all, and they send it. And in a week there is no response, so they will write another email with 2 A4s and send it again and still no response. And the only obvious solution is just take the phone or go to the person. Sometimes this is the biggest challenge for new team leaders recruited from developers. That's the fact. Number 4 is about communication. As I have said, communication is the key because you have to communicate with your peers, you have to communicate with your clients, you have to communicate with everybody. And if you don't, you are done. So the role is primarily about communication, and please do not underestimate soft skills trainings and things like that. For example, how to present, how to communicate in really tough situations when customers are screaming at you. I hope they don't, but sometimes it can happen. Or your managers are screaming at you and you have to handle it, keep it professional. So things that really help is providing clear and transparent information, and sometimes that's really not easy because not every time the information is positive. Sometimes they are negative, but that's the only way how to make the things done, that you are clear and transparent when you say A, that everyone understands A and not B, not C. So please, if you are team leaders, want to be or used to be, definitely you have to invest in your skills and soft skills. It doesn't matter which version of Java you use, whether it's 8, and as I realized in the previous speech, only 11 since today. So it's about presenting, communication, and things like this. What really works is so-called management by wandering around. It cannot be done if you have your daily or weekly schedule, as we seen in the previous slide, but it means that you are simply sitting there. Many times managers are really going everywhere, sitting at the meetings, driving a car, flying to the UK, whatever, but they are not with the team. And then at the end of the month, they have 30 minutes for everyone asking, so what have you done? Okay, are you satisfied? Okay, what about your KPIs? Okay, sorry, we have to finish because I have another colleague. But if you are just sitting in the office and listening to the hum, to the noise in the office, you find out so many things that you cannot find out during face-to-face meetings, because people are simply talking about stuff and you are there to understand the stuff. So it's called wandering around, and it really helps. And it also means that you are there with the team as a team leader, not sitting at meetings and doing some other strange things. The truth is, your team or you yourself can be the best team leader, team, scrum team, agile, whatever, but when no one knows, it simply doesn't exist. So if you cannot sell in any direction that, for example, okay, we should do this new portal thing and have it done by April, and you don't sell it to your team, and then you did it, and you are not able to sell it to your managers, say, hey, we had a really hard time doing it because there were problems with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was really hard, so we deserve some incentives, let's say maybe 14 days of vacation extra or whatever, and you cannot sell it. It simply doesn't exist. And you have to do it for yourself, you have to do it for your team, also for your organization. And you have to know how to do it. Information, communication. Another aspect is misusing information. And it's pretty tough, and not many people realize that, but as a team leader, we know more, sooner, better, things like this. Usually we are the first one to know that the deadline has shifted by 1 week there and there. We are the first one to know that our project is closed. We are the first one to know that our customer didn't accept it, what we really did. So we know it, and it's really tempting sometimes to misuse it. For example, my experience is once my team leader knew that the deadline was shifted, but in this case prolonged by 14 days. So we had 14 days more, but he simply didn't tell us. The reason was obvious. It's great to have it 14 days before the real deadline, isn't it? So we will be prepared. But the reality was that the team was dying. So what do you think that happened when we realized? Because every time you realize a lie. So we were, now I'm in Profinet, it was in the previous, with the previous employer. So these are the things that really happen. I think it's great when everything is open. So we know all the information, we share the information, everyone knows. So your team knows. The responsibility of a team leader is to bring the information from inside of the company to the team. So if there's something happening, for example, the company is going to a stock exchange market or the company is about to be closed, why not to share the information? It's fair, and you have to do it. You have to do it for yourself, to just for your relief and for the team. And of course, handle with care. Because sometimes as a team leader, you have to shelter your team from many things. And definitely when the customer is screaming at you and saying, I'm completely not satisfied with the things you have done, it's not wise to tell it to the team the day they are celebrating that they deployed finally something. So definitely handle with care, but saying the truth is always better than not to saying it. Misusing information works, same as with the approach through the force, but in a short term, as I said with the example at the beginning. 6 is about planning, because every team leader has to plan. Again, as a developers, we plan our day. We maybe stand at morning stand-ups as saying, okay, I've done this, but in my queue is this, and I hope I will do it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do some sort of planning, but as a team leader, it's not about planning for yourself, it's also planning for your team. Any plan is always better than no plan at all. That's the fact, and we may discuss, okay, short term, long term, whatever, but when you take care of your people, you have to have some plan. For example, with students, this week I have 30 Mondays to work on, but the next week I will have only 15. So I have to choose wisely which task I'm going to do and which task I'm not able to finish. So this is definitely something that team leader has to get to know and has to work with. And short term, long term. It makes no sense to plan for 6 months, maybe roughly. Yeah, roughly we are going to do it, but we will see after 1 month. But it's really wise and really important to plan for 1 week or 2 weeks and so on in short term. Every time, please consider the cost-benefit ratio, because it's really tempting to buy Microsoft project version 2019 and do all these nice fancy Gantt charts and resource whatever, and then send it to the customer. But then the first day of your project, everything is wrong and you have to redo it. So please consider, is it worth it? Do I really have to do it? And it relates to previous bullet saying, save your time, work effectively. So if the plan is too big, if it doesn't make sense, then don't do it. Versioning, reporting, and so on, same information in 3 different ways. This is a nice text, small prints, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. This should be the mantra of every team leader. Please do the small thing needed to move your project forward, because you have many more responsibilities to do. So if your customers want to have Microsoft Word reports, whatever, is it really needed? Maybe it's not. Maybe I can send an email. Maybe I can take a phone and call him and say, okay, everything is on track. Or maybe the customer can find it in Jira, and the only thing to do is creating him or her an account in your Jira, and he can then see it. So this should be the mantra of every team leader, and it's really necessary. Don't do tasks that are not necessary and no one wants them. 7. Team leader understand the things that he is doing, and not only programming. Definitely when team leaders are recruited from developers, they know the thing. They know how to work with .NET Core number 3.1. They know how to work with Java number 13. They like to do it. They love to do it. But you also have to understand somehow the business to be able to communicate all the stuff inside your team. So team leader is competent as a manager and also in the problem domain. And now the problem is not that it's a problem, but it's banking, insurance, life critical systems, whatever. So he or she somehow knows what's the stuff about. And if it means that you have to read something to know it, then read it, because no one can do it. No one else can do it. So you know the tools, know the skills, and never, I'm team leader, you developers have to tell me what to say in the meeting. Sometimes in corporates, it's really popular answer that there are project managers, team leaders on a certain level having their meetings, communicating about budgets, mandates, whatever, and they don't really know what's happening down there. So please tell me, yeah, what's the problem? I don't understand it, so sorry, can I say just we are delayed? Okay, perfect. Let's move on. That's wrong. You have to understand, because then you receive respect of your team. They know that you know the stuff. The opposite is also wrong, because former developer, now team leader, maybe you are really disconnected from the stuff down there. You remember Java 8, now it's Java 13, new libraries and so on, but you still think that you know the stuff best, and you are telling developers do it this way because this is the only way how to do it. It's also totally wrong, because you have to trust your people and delegate some tasks. So please, there is a dark side of the force, and the dark side is definitely here, that you think that you know everything, and it's not true anymore. And it's no shame in saying, I don't know. You will also gain credit for it if you go to your developers and say, hey, I remember only 50% of it. I used to do it, but now I'm out of the game. Please tell me what's the best way how to do it. It will gain you their trust. They will trust you. They will follow you. So these are small things that sometimes we have to push the developer inside out and say, okay, I don't know it, but it doesn't matter anymore because it's good for the project, for the team. It's a nice pyramid, and it's a kind of a learning cycle. And if you know it, so just in short, at the bottom line, there is something called unconscious incompetence. Simply said, I don't know that I don't know. So for everyone, I'm such a bit of idiot. Okay, because I'm trying to pretend that I know everything and I know nothing. Then I realize, so it's conscious incompetence. Now I know that I don't know. It's better, but maybe I'm not so self-confident for the team because I have to ask for everything. I'm not sure, and the team knows it. That's the fact. The third level is conscious competence. I know that I know. So this stage actually is one of the best because I'm doing the stuff, I know how to do the stuff, and then I can teach my colleagues how to do the stuff because I'm aware of it. The last level is unconscious competence. It's just a gut feeling I'm doing the stuff, but I don't really know how. So maybe it's best for you, but it's not best for the team because you cannot delegate, you cannot teach the people how to do the things. There's also another summary of it. At the bottom, it's wrong intuition. I'm the best. No, you are not. I think I know where the problem is. Maybe. Yeah, I know where the problem is and how to do it. Well, now you can teach your colleagues. And at the top, I have the intuition. I'm doing it just so flawlessly and so easily. It's good for you, but not for the team. So sometimes for skilled team leaders, project managers, it's necessary to move from the top one level lower to realize what they are doing, and then they can share the knowledge. Number 8, resolving conflicts. Conflicts happen in every project, and when we are talking about conflicts, it means personal conflicts. Inside the team, you have underperformer or you have rock star, and you have to somehow deal with it, do something about it. You have conflict with your superiors, managers, customers, and so on and so on. Easy to write, hard to do, keep calm and stay professional. Yeah, that sounds so nice, but that's one of the skills you have to learn. Because only when it's not personal, not I don't like you, then you can solve the issue. If it gets personal, then someone else have to help you both, because there's no resolution. And what helps, and we programmers love it, structure, simple and precise information. Simple. One of the examples giving feedback, it has a structure, it has 2 points saying, I really appreciate, that's good that you are doing this, and to do it better, please do this. So never to say, and I really hate about you that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are saying this is okay, and this could be better. That's one of the structures, and again, it helps because on the other side, the people have different feeling when saying, maybe you can do better in these things than, hey, you really messed this up. So, for example, try it with your wives or girlfriends. It works a bit better. And no one is saying that telling truth is easy or pleasant. It's not. And again, it's your job, and if you don't like it, then don't do it. But you sometimes have to say unpleasant and not so positive things. But that's the only way how to do, because then you are only postponing the problem, maybe for someone else, but mainly for you. Same applies to problems, and in this case, problems mean I have problems with a project, not with the people. So maybe with some infrastructure, some problems. And every project has problems. Services are not available. Documentation, there is no documentation at all. We have slip in our schedule. So problems, 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 and so on. And no one wants to have problems, especially your managers don't want to hear problems. And here is another tool that can be used. And when you have a problem, for example, you are delayed by 1 month, going to your manager and saying, we are going to be delayed by 1 month and I have no clue what to do about it. Then please find another employer. But if you go there and say, we are going to be delayed by 1 month, but I have 2 options and you are the one to decide which option we are going to choose. One option is to reduce the scope, second option is whatever. No one is saying that the meeting will be better. No, maybe someone will be screaming, but at the end, there will be some resolution and the boss will hear some opinions, some things he or she can choose from. And it's always better. Again, try it at home if you can. Don't say, I don't know, there is a problem, I don't know. It means that the person now has a problem and no one wants to have a problem. So please bring some solution, propose something. And again, same as in the previous example, it's not easy. It's not pleasant. And again, if you are not comfortable with it, don't do it. Maybe you can be happier as a developer. Last but not least, team leader works towards project success. And it means everything that's in this phrase. First thing of all, team leader uses common sense. You can read thousands of books, but your project will be different. You can meet thousands of people and discuss with them all these aspects, but your project will be different. And maybe sometimes common sense is the best. Maybe we can hire 10 more people, maybe we can reduce the scope, maybe we can do 100 things, but if you feel that you are not going to meet the deadline in any way, then maybe this is the only result that you have. So use your common sense. Team leader is there also for the team. So you cannot work without your team. If you have work for 100 man days, you cannot simply do it yourself. So you need your team and you should be there to somehow shelter them from all those obstacles, problems. So in Agile, we have Scrum Master for it in some kind of a way. Monitor is not working, okay, I don't have accesses, okay. But as the team leader, it's your job. So if your team feels that there are no customers, in a way that they are not just some noise there and disrupting them from the work, then your job is right, because you are sheltering, you are securing your team from any obstacles on the way. So you are there for them to let them focus. And You are responsible for the project and the team. Sometimes team leaders are responsible only for themselves. We will see on the following slides. Okay, if it's good for me, I will do it, but I don't care about the team. Again, it sounds like from a business presentation, but down there it's true, because the team will realize it if you take care of them or if you don't care at all. It's small, but really important. As developers, we are usually on our own. It means I have my task, I have my IntelliJ idea, I have my Java, I'm working on it, and I don't have to care about others. And now I am team leader. Maybe I still love to code Java and do all those fancy Spring things, but now I should take care also of the people, and maybe I will have to produce some reports, and maybe I'm nearly dead working 12 hours per day. So team leader has to start delegating. If he or she doesn't, he or she goes mad. That's the fact. Every good presentation should have at least one picture. So I hope this presentation will be good. Hope. I can only hope. So here are some methodologies proven not to work. And you see some shortcuts or abbreviations. Any one of you know any of these shortcuts, abbreviations, whatever? Okay, one, and I would guess it would be SMTP. Okay, let's see the clue. So if this works, okay. So SMTP stands for email forwarder. That's an approach when your team leader just receives email and directly forwards it to someone else. I don't want to have any responsibility, because then maybe there could be some problems, so I will forward my emails and I don't care. NMF or SEF stands for it's not my fault, someone else's fault, can be rephrased as covering someone's ass. It means at the end of the project, please, it's not on me. There are the problems, but not with me. SEP, someone else's problem. Problems are great, but they are even better when they are not yours. So make a problem someone else's problem, and then you can say, haha, you have a problem. And now I'm really enjoying how are you going to solve it. MSOD is really popular in corporations. Microsoft Office Driven Management. These people have nice templates for Word, PowerPoint, Excel sheets. Perfect. So the visual part of the reports is awesome. On the other hand, the content is a complete mess. So, as we said, do the least thing that's necessary to move your project, so please don't do this. Number 5, I'm your boss. That's from the side of power. I said so, so please do it. Wrong. 6 can be combined with any of the previous. I cannot decide myself. You go to your team leader and ask for help, and he or she will respond, okay, that's a very good question, but sorry, I cannot decide myself. I have to ask. You can combine it with SMTP, you can combine it with NMF. It's really versatile in a really agile way that you can combine it. And that's definitely wrong, because you are losing credit. You are not willing to make any decision, then you are worthless. You can go home. And last one, I really like this one, workshop-driven management. You have a bunch of problems, and then the best idea on your mind is, let's collect all those people from all departments, risks, insurance, marketing, let's them put in one big room for 4 hours, maybe 8 hours, and at the end, something will happen. How many of you have ever attended this meeting? Okay, unfortunately, I did also. And the result is always completely nothing, because after 10 minutes, after the beginning, the people will start to chat between the departments and solve their own problems, and it doesn't work at all, so please don't do it. If you find yourself in a project where any of these methodologies is applied, please run away as soon as possible. So the question is, if it were always easy, some real examples, because it's not an easy job. It has been a bit changed, but the essence is there. As a team leader, you will face, for example, this one. You have a colleague, and he or she is still prolonging the date and saying there are those problems and those problems and those problems, and you have to do something about it. And it's not pleasant. You don't want to do it, but you have to. Then there can be customers, you know, and they will tell you in a meeting, I expect you as a professional to make things done. So it's a bit personal, isn't it? I expect you as a professional. And you have to keep calm, smile, say thank you. See what's the problem. Or even better, I know that was the agreement, however, the situation has changed and we are not willing to accept the terms anymore. Maybe it's more managerial stuff, but still for team leaders. And imagine you set up your team consisting of 9 people, you are ready at the blocks, and this comes. Sorry, we wanted to have a team, but now we don't want it anymore. Again, keep it professional, smile, thank you, and move on. And the last one, it's not a joke, that's a real, not my story, but one of my colleagues, sitting in a meeting. I know it's not in the contract. I signed it, but didn't read. No more discussion, done. It's, you would say, in this business we do, it's unbelievable, but sometimes these things happen because the customers are the ones that are paying. So we have to handle it with care. Okay, so what is the job about? The first and most important thing is you are there for your people. So you have to do everything to have your people satisfied, happy, and whatever it means. So you have to be there for this. It also means no more headphones for the whole day. Sorry, I have one colleague, now he is a team leader, and he said, after 6 months, I realized that my 2 teams did completely the same thing. And I don't understand why this happened. And then we realized that he wants to focus on his work. At 8 a.m. he takes headphones, and at 5 p.m. he goes home also with the headphones. He completely doesn't take care of the people sitting around and chatting. If he didn't have the headphones, maybe he would have heard it, maybe not, who knows. But sorry, it's your job to be there, and it's hard for developers again to realize. But your job is there to sit, to listen, and maybe some kind of waste your time. But it's your job. You have to know strengths and weaknesses of your people. For introverts, it's really tough, but it also means that you are aware of some personalities, maybe family situation, and things that are not visible during day-to-day agenda. So you should take them for a team building, take them for lunch, take them for the beer, and just listen, let them talk and listen. Again, it's your job. And focusing on work, avoiding obstacles and disturbances. Again, it's your job to do it, because then they can work effectively 7 to 8 to 10, whatever hours, and your job is to do everything in order to avoid obstacles and disturbances. And share the knowledge, delegate, mentor, coach. Obviously, one has to know how to do it, but if you devote some minutes of your precious time to teach the people, it will save your time in the future, and it will help the people to grow. So it's really important to do it. And everyone should have personal life. So one rule of all is, if you feel miserable doing a team leader, then don't do it. There are millions of jobs, millions of things to do, millions of companies to work in, so don't do it. It's not the only option. Actually, anyone on LinkedIn, Facebook is CEO, CFO, CTO. You can be one person just selling oranges and you can say, I'm CFO. So we have so many people saying I'm the boss, but we have so few people that are really good as developers. So it's not bad to be a really good developer. It's nice. So if you don't like it, then don't do it. It's not mandatory. Time management. If you cannot manage your own time, how can you manage other people? So start to delegate, find yourself time, and just live. That's the key. And everyone has limits, and team leader, manager, and software engineers, it's a heavy-duty part, and there can be burnt out. That after 2 years you say, okay, I'm completely done. I'm a bit short of time, so I cannot tell you what a swimming donkey theorem stands for, but we can after this speech, or find me here in corridor. But it can happen, and what really helps is to have your own mantra or self-talk. Anyone of you working with life-critical systems? No one. Okay, then your mantra can be no one has died. You are sitting in a meeting and shit happens, so you deleted some of your acceptance database or whatever. Okay, it's bad. It's definitely bad. Or you send 1,000 SMSs to all your clients. It's definitely bad. But no one has died. You look out of the window and the sun is still shining and the earth is still rotating, and you go home and you have your kids and everything is fine. So it's just a job. If you work in life critical systems, definitely this is not one of the best mantras you can have. But usually these things happen, and that's the life, but it's only one aspect of your life. So having a mantra is really great. And should you have the time while team leading or whatever, today I realized only Twitter should be read, but sometimes books are not bad. So managing a programming project, pretty old, but the key information is there and it's not so big. About interactions with people, real people, not machines, but real people, you can choose Managing Humans. It's really funny and easy to read. And my popular author is Steve McConnell, the author of Code Complete and so on. And he wrote Software Project Survival Guide. If you feel serious about this stuff, please read it. That's all. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if I have a few minutes for questions. No, we are short of time, so should you have any question, please go to me and I will be glad to answer it. Thank you.